Am I the idiot for kicking my boyfriend's parents out of our apartment after his mom called me a witch? Back in March his parents decided they wanted to come wait quarantine out at our apartment. For starters they never asked. His mother called and told me that they were on their way and to prepare our spare bedroom for them. I was already apprehensive about them staying with us because his parents have always been extremely rude to me. They are overly critical of everything I say and do. They are massive control freaks who feel entitled to always be in charge. So right off the bat things are miserable. They verbally abuse me daily, tell me what I can and can't do in my own apartment, and are overall just the worst. Out of everything, the air conditioning caused the biggest debacle. Where I live it has been 85 to 90 almost every day. I normally keep my air on 70, but when they started complaining, I turned the air up to 75. This is already a little toasty for me, but I was willing to be a little hot to try to keep the peace. This was not good enough for them. They don't want the air on. Period. They want the heat on. And they turn it on every single opportunity they get. I wake up in the middle of the night covered in sweat. I have told them to stop countless times. Yesterday I finally cracked. I put about 10 pieces of duct tape over the thermostat with a note attached that said, "Do not touch the thermostat." While I'm at work 6 PM I walk into my apartment and am automatically hit by a hotter and more humid heat than it is outside. Duct tape and notes have been torn off the thermostat and they have the heat on 98 fucking degrees. I go into the guest room and say, why could you not follow the simple instruction of do not touch the thermostat? This is my home. I'm tired of you saying rude things to me. I'm tired of you treating me like a child and creating your own rules for my apartment. You either need to be respectful towards me and learn to accept my boundaries or go back to your own house. His mother said, and I disdainfully quote, "You have no right to barge in here without knocking." That was not only an invasion of privacy, but you need to take the attitude out of your tone. I've dealt with much bigger bitches than you before. She went on for 30 minutes and I just tuned her out. When she was done talking I told her to get out. Now my boyfriend is angry with me because I couldn't just let them have their way. He wants me to call his mom and apologize, but I don't think I should have to. I may have been rude to her, but it was only because I have spent the past 2 months dealing with her abuse and trying to politely ask her to stop treating me that way. I got tired of politely asking someone to stop treating me like shit in my own home in which I was letting them live in for free. I also got tired of my boyfriend refusing to defend me and allowing her to say and do whatever she wanted. I'm trying to understand their perspective, although it just doesn't seem reasonable to me. If Reddit determines I'm the asshole, I will call and apologize. Am I the idiot for buying my 5th property rather than help out my siblings? For context, even when I, 44 male, was a child I was incredibly into owning property and designing houses. I work as an architect and am doing quite well for myself. Bought my first duplex here in Germany a long time ago where I rent out both part. Then I own 2 houses in Italy and 1 in Spain. 2 of them are rented out as holiday homes, while the last one I use for vacations and rent out a room to a friend of mine. So I have a lot of passive income at the moment, but only after a lot of time and money investments and refurbishing of these houses. I rent in New York City at the moment as my job has made me move here temporarily. My brother, 48 male, does an apartment. He has a family with 2 kids, while my wife and I are childless. They are currently looking to purchase a house that fits all of them nicely. While they have found their dream house, it's out of budget for them. Meanwhile, my wife and I are about to buy our 5th house, this time in France. It's going to be one of our largest purchases yet, significantly larger than anything else we have done. It's a great deal on the property however, and ideally what my wife and I want to retire in. When having a family FaceTime with my siblings and parents, I brought it up. Initially very happy for me, my brother mentioned how he needs a larger home for his family and how I should give up on this opportunity to give him money for his house and spend the rest on refurbishing their new home. I just laughed and said flat out no. Edit. Thought this was a joke. This was apparently the wrong move. My entire family turns against me and starts berating me. After 10 minutes of them taking turns telling me to buy my brother a house, I said I'd think about it and left. I'm a bit of a pushover, so after talking to my wife we agreed we could wait and buy their house and rent it out to them at no profit. Apparently this was insulting to him, having his younger brother be his landlord, and my parents said I should just outright give him the money we have been saving. I told them to piss off and started moving forward with the paperwork on our house in France. After talking to my friends, they said I should put family first and it's not like we are struggling for money. Now I'm confused. AITA? Edit. This edit is super late, but I want to clarify my brother does have money for a 4-bedroom house. He isn't broke. Just not enough money for his dream house. The dream house is approximately double as expensive. Am I the idiot for threatening to kick my sister and her children out during a global pandemic? My 20 female sister, 30 female, has 2 kids, 5 female and 7 male. She recently divorced her husband and is temporarily staying with me because she has nowhere else to go. She could move in with our parents, but for some reason, she decided to stay with me for a few days. Few days turned into months because of the pandemic, and so, here we are. I honestly don't mind. I love her, and I love the kids. What I can't stand is her behavior. Bear with me. This is going to sound very bizarre. My sister is very religious. She has a Facebook group, WhatsApp group and an Instagram, where she has about 5,000 followers. She's probably also on Reddit and many other social media. Usually, she's nice and sweet, but lately, she's become somewhat crazy. She has these sessions with her kids every few days. These sessions last about half an hour. During these sessions, she teaches her kids about the LGBTQ community. Not good things, but she teaches them about how being gay is a sin and all of that. Being transgender is a disease. How to avoid getting infected, etc. She tells them to repeat words after her, and then makes a video and uploads it everywhere. It's very bizarre. She gets a lot of likes on social media where like-minded people praise her and upload similar videos of them having these sessions with their kids. She's part of this group trying to lead the new generation to the right path. Her little daughter, who is 5, has the sentences memorized. Being gay is a sin. You'll burn in hell is her answer. If you ask her what do you think about gay people, the problem is I'm bisexual. My sister conveniently forgets that. No, you're not. You'll get over it when you meet the right person, is what she tells me when I mention it. This is my house. I will not tolerate her disrespecting me in my own home. I told her that as long as she stays in my home, eats my food, uses my things, she's not allowed to have these sessions in my living room. This led to a massive argument where she bragged about her followers, refused to listen to me, insulted me and refused to apologize. I ended up threatening her. I told her she can't live here if she behaves this way, which made her cry. Now I'm the heartless, selfish asshole in my family who threatened to kick her poor divorced sister and her little kids out in the middle of a global pandemic. I would obviously never do that to her. I only wanted her to stop being homophobic. Besides, she can always go to our parents. I have apologized countless times, even to my parents, but I'm being repeatedly called heartless. Am I the asshole for wanting my sister to stop being homophobic? Am I the asshole for threatening her to get her to stop? Am I the idiot for praising my son differently than my daughter? I, 52 male, am the father of 3 kids, 15 female, 7 female, and 7 male. The last 2 are twins, and are very close, having the tendency to copy each other. I love and adore them all equally. My son is not a very masculine kid, and is less interested in some of my hobbies because of this. He has always preferred whatever his mother and older sister did, like baking or dancing. I have no problem with this. I love him as he is, but to be honest, I'm slightly disappointed that we haven't had the kind of amazing father-son bonding that I got to have with my grandpa. My dad died when I was pretty young, when I was a kid. Since I'm at home almost all the time now, I've been seeing just how feminine his interests have gotten. Asking to help cook every meal, helping his older sister alter second-hand clothes, and playing pretend. He's even asked to have his sister paint his nails. I'm not upset or bothered by it, but it isn't typical for young boys. I've been working out at home instead of at the gym because of our current circumstances, and when my son came in, while I was lifting weights in the family room, he showed an interest in it. He was excited about the idea of having big muscles and tried out some of the 5-pound ones. Even though he mentioned being like She-Ra from some new Netflix reboot, I think it was still progress in my eyes, and it seemed like he was showing interest in masculine hobbies. I praised him and did the whole "wow, you're so strong" thing and kid talk to encourage him. When his sisters walked in, the twin, 7 female, joined in. Like I said, they have the tendency to want to do what the other is doing, so she expected the same kind of "wow, so strong" stuff. When I wasn't as enthusiastic with her and focused on my son, my oldest got annoyed and asked why I was treating them differently. I explained to her that because he hadn't taken interest in these kinds of masculine hobbies before, I wanted to foster his own identity as a boy separate from his twin sister. She accused me of being misogynistic for this. She then said that I was the idiot for making his sister feel weaker and implying that I didn't approve of his feminine interests. I don't think I'm the idiot, because there's no reason for my daughter to be inclined towards this kind of thing, but my son should be developing a more masculine personality as he gets older. When she told my wife, 41F, she also blew up at me, saying I was acting like a cartoon misogynist. Both of them are pissed. So, Reddit, AITA, edit, vertical bar hey everyone. I was 100% the idiot. I appreciate that some people tried to empathize and say NTA or nah to be charitable, but I'm in the wrong here, and I knew it deep down while I was writing the post. Rereading it, I feel ridiculous for writing that all out. I want to say thank you, because these comments were the objective kick in the ass I really needed. I realize now that I was really out of line for saying that shit and making my daughters feel that way. I set up a stupid false dichotomy, and my daughter was very right. I was being a misogynist. No excuse for that. I apologized to both of them and my wife an hour after I posted. I also shared this post with my little brother, who, as I mentioned in a comment, was teased for being effeminate as a kid/teen, especially after he came out. I think some people took me mentioning that as blaming him, which wasn't my intention at all. None of my behavior is his or anybody else's fault. We talked for a while and that, along with many of the comments you guys left, made me aware of how badly I'm treating my son. My grandpa, who raised my brother and I for most of our lives, was a manly guy who I've always idolized completely. Well, my brother made me aware that my grandpa in particular made him feel shitty about his femininity and his sexual orientation. He would regularly say degrading, terrible things. I was oblivious to just how much that hurt him, and it seems that I've picked up some of these same ideas. I've been such a dick for so long, and now that I realize how absurd some of the ideas I've held onto are, I know how much of a disservice I've done to my boy. I shouldn't try to make him change just to protect him from bullies. In this situation, I'm the bully as much as it hurts to think